free higher education is an investment. No, yung linalagay nating pera doon, ang kapalit noon is diploma, no? So just to compare free higher education and ayuda, the free higher education will yield the country more students who will graduate with a diploma, and that will enable them to look for meaningful jobs in or outside of the country. So maybe later on, Madam Chair, we can request the chairman of the Finance Committee kung pwedeng kumurot ng konti sa ayuda, no? At kasi ang hinihingi naman ng SUC is 3 billion in addition, no? So kukurot lang tayo doon sa 591 billion para mapunuan natin ng konti yung kailangan sa free higher education, no?
But let me add, no, beyond that, because I will support that. I will join His Honor in the official submission of our recommendation. Actually, bahala siya kung saan niya kunin, but you're just giving everybody a glimpse of saan possibly kumuha. Kasi that's part of our job, na maghanap din kami ng source. But the other thing I really want, and Pasok can be very helpful here, is what is the infrastructure, the human manpower, the teaching and non-teaching positions that need to be filled to support this. Kasi it's one thing na the budget covers the tuition, pero hindi na sila kasya sa classroom. Kulang ang outdated na yung technology nila. So I want that to be part of the growth. So have a choose 3 or 4 or 5 model cities, choose 3 from the big cities, one in Metro Manila, PUP, TUP, whoever, then choose one in the Visayas, choose one in Mindanao. Let's do it. Let's allocate 20 million per that's not big, but it's a start. Kasi otherwise, that's why I had my file. I was trying to keep my discussion short, no? But ano na yung quality ng education na ino-offer? Yun yung point ko. Kasi yung utang na yan, okay, kasi nga may dagdag na estudyanteng tinanggap, pero what? Nadagdagan ba facilities? Nadagdagan ba yung teacher? Yung oras ba ng teacher na maibigay sa estudyante niyang dating 40 na nga, baka naging 60 pa? Paano? What's the quality? What's the output? What's the outcome? And when you look at, I've seen surveys on Filipino graduates, yes, ando naman yung natin na we're the most hospitable, we're the most hardworking, but ano yung pinabaon natin sa kanilang quality of education when they graduate, when this is what we are confronted with, that we already know, and I don't know if there's been any progress, yung workload ng teachers. I harp on that every budget na ang UP, President Gigil, ano yung average na workload ng teachers natin sa UP?
About
Units?
15 units.
15 units.
15 units.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, sa pasok, sa SUCs, ilan?
18 po. That's on the average. We have more.
Iba mukha ko, mag-iiba sagot mo.
Hindi po.
That,
We have 18. We have.
I'm speaking from 2013 to 2016 experience when I sat on the board. Okay, when I sat on the board. Good news na ba? Kasi yung nakikita ko noon 23, 25.
Madam Chair, may 21 po, may 18. I heard may 15.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we're
But majority
improving.
po,
But
on the average, 18.
But sana naman may goals naman tayo para yung quality naman ng teaching, mabuhos naman ng teacher. Yes.
Just 3 points, Madam Chair. First, on the intervention of Senator Gatchalian, I think there are 2 points that are important to include. Number 1, it's better to invest in free higher education because you can track the results. Doon sa ayuda, hindi mo masyadong matrack kung ano talagang nangyari. But you can track the completion rate, the graduation rate, the employment rate of the students that are being subsidized by government. You can quantify the investments that are put in terms of outcome. It's easier to do that in education than in social services. Madaling i-quantify eh. It's easy to justify increasing the investment. The second one is, the World Bank has studied the past 2 decades, and their conclusion is the highest return of investment is now in higher education. It's not in primary or secondary. 17% return of investment in higher education according to the World Bank. And these are comparative studies all over the world. 7% for high school completion, 10% for elementary completion, 17% for higher ed. So it makes sense that the global requirement for manpower now requires higher education because that's the highest rate of return. So I think that also reinforces what you said, that we should put more in free higher education actually compared to other, programs, because it's easy to measure, and empirically it has been studied by the World Bank extensively. Mataas yung rate of return. My comment on what Senator Cayetano said is lumiit po yung load kasi madaming items na binigay ang DBM previously sa mga SUKs. They were given a lot of items, and recently there was a reclassification and promotion of SUKs. So pag na-reclassify sila, tataas yung sweldo. It also frees up other items for recruitment of faculty. So we actually have more faculty members now compared to previous years. So the ratio, of course, will be affected by that, Madam Chair.
Joined our good chairperson in stressing that it's also important to maintain quality and to improve quality. Hindi lang natin quantity or the more students is not the ultimate goal, but more students graduating from quality programs, quality schools, quality HEIs. No? So I join our good chairperson in stressing that point. Oh. Go.
Madam Chair, since 2018, when I was appointed chair, we required all state universities to have certificate of program compliance for all their degree programs. We have an agreement with the PRC that if you're a student who is not enrolled or who is enrolled in a program without COPC, you cannot take the licensure test. That's why the SUKs have to submit their board programs for evaluation by CHED because their students cannot take the licensure. So we thank the PRC for this initiative. But there is good news. Some of our state universities, like Central Philippine State University, I think they're here, from 0 COPC, they are now 100% COPC. So it's not impossible to get 100%. Dati, wala sila. Not a single program had a certificate of program compliance. They now have all their programs. And in the conversion from state college to state university, we require that they have 100% COPC before they can be converted. So Cotabato State University and the other newly converted state colleges, all their programs have 100% certificate of program compliance. That means the faculty is qualified, the curriculum is okay, the facilities are available. And so there are interventions for quality that are very strict. We can submit to the Senate the list of all the SUKs and the percentage of COPC that they have acquired so that we can track their progress over time, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Sige, quickly lang and
Yes,
then
po.
quick response.
This is a quick reaction on your observation regarding the 2022 and 2023 deficiency. Yes po, we accepted maybe a quit over than our carrying capacity physically. Because that time, the issue is not, I should say, admittedly, all of us, it's the issue on continuity, not of the quality. I cannot...
Ito yung mga natanggap nung start ng pandemic.
Yes po. Kasi even the LGUs, even the congressman are calling us to accommodate this. Otherwise, they will stop schooling. Itong mga to. So we accommodate in our system. And now, here comes this deficiency. Now, ang amin na lang pong appeal, sana we agree with you that we really need to increase the quality. Whether it is infrastructure, whether it is human resources. And we foresee and we already projected or programmed this. If this deficiency will be paid, this can help us. This is our investment for the future. Kasi 2022 pa po ito, 2025 natin siya matatanggap, let's say 2024, baka po yung ating quality that we really envision for our students can be achieved through the payment of this. So, this is foregone already. If this will not be paid by the government, this is income foregone. Or should I say investment foregone? This is our investment for the improvement of this quality. Naniniwala po tayo really that there is decrease in quality kasi nung panahon natin, paisa-isa lang ang cum laude. But in recent years, paisa-isa ang hindi cum laude. That can be observed maybe even in UP or in almost all our issues. We have more cum laudes in recent years, which we are now starting to calibrate. we advise our teachers, but this deficiency when paid to us is additional investment for the increase of quality. Thank you, Madam Chair.
For the record, because of your because of our hearing last budget, we have included that amount, but it was it was put in the unprogram. So may chance pang ma-release yan. And how much is in unprogram? 6.7 billion. So in fact, I actually have a text message that I haven't sent yet to Secretary Mina to ask for an update kung makukuha. So that's what I wanted to hear. Kasi I don't think naman nagdagdag kayo ng teacher to accommodate that. So yan, tingin ko dyan, investment na lang talaga ninyo for the future yon. So anyway, okay, let's move on.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Senator
Thank you,
Gatchalian.
thank you, Madam Chair. I'll move on to another topic, and this is to thank Ched for this adjustment. And this is in relation to the criteria for the TES. During the last budget hearing in 2023, Madam Chairperson, we flagged Ched that the allocation for 4Ps and also listahanan, which is the poorest of the poor, is going down since 2018. And the allocation going to places with no suks and looks gradually went up. And because of that comment and also recommendation to change the criteria, we saw a staggering increase in 4Ps enrollees from 1% to 35%. That's an equivalent of 159,000 students from 4Ps. Alam natin 4Ps are the poorest of the poor. So if you add the 4Ps enrollees plus the listahanan enrollees, we now have about 210,000 poorest of the poor students enrolled now in the TES. And we thank Ched for that adjustment and also the intervention of this committee during the budget deliberations. And this is what our good chairperson is saying, that we want to make sure that the subsidies are being to the most needy, to sa mga pinakamahirap nating constituents, yung muna ang nabibigyan ng priority. And I just want to put that on record, and that's an intervention that this committee brought to light during the budget deliberation. So any comment, Chair Popoy, on that? And I thank the Commission and also the UNIFAS board for responding to our request.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to put it on record that we thank the Senate for raising that issue, because the reason why the UNIFAS board could not be as interventionist as needed previously, because the language of the law was quite gray on certain areas. But the board has been discussing that for some time. But when the Senate and the House officially declared that there should be a change, it made it easier to convince the board of the UNIFAS to also do it. So I'd also like to thank the Senate for bringing that issue out publicly, because it gave us an easier way to convince the members of the UNIFAS board to change the policy.
Assume, Chairman, yung 159,000 from 4Ps would probably be mostly first generation college students also. No? So I think we're seeing a good phenomenon in that respect.